Okay, and the touchscreen was not responding. And they've been down for about the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, hurricane related. So I kept hitting it, and finally I hit it too many times, and it went to the eat in, not take out. And I was like, no, so I had to cancel. And
Jump
hit
off,
it again,
jump
hit
off,
it again.
jump off. Just one second. Back to my original question. How was lunch?
Well, it was okay.
All right. Thank you.
You are listening to the Old Titans. I think that's who we are, right?
That is who we are.
Being old, you sometimes forget those kind of things. This is John Paul.
The executive producer, co-creator, writer, editor, and not as old Titan himself, the one and only B-Man.
Or as I refer to him as, hey, you.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
You're the old guy.
I'm the old guy.
You are the old guy.
I got another year and 3 months before I'm the really old guy.
Then, oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't
It's around the corner.
I'm looking forward to that day.
It's around the corner.
Don't come to work that day.
No?
Although, granted, I technically work for you. It'd be kind of awkward if I do something. I don't care. I'll do it anyways.
Actually, I usually take my birthday off. Not always, but usually do.
Yeah, but you have to come back the day before. You'd come sooner or later.
Yeah, I'll get here eventually.
Yeah, you don't want to come in at all. You just
Okay, just don't come in
retire
at all.
at that
Just
point.
retire. Okay. Well, hey, if I could retire at 50, I'd be very happy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, but if I could, I'd be very happy.
I would too.
I just need my 401k and all that kind of stuff
Okay,
to
you're
triple in value in the next year.
back to the lunch question.
All right. Speaking of questions, I think we usually start this thing off with something called the B-Man question of the week.
Easy question. We're now in October. We missed last week.
Yeah.
John Paul's fault. But
Right.
back to the whole question. Being October, what is your go-to Halloween movie? What movie do you watch every Halloween time?
All right. Thought about it.
Okay.
I originally thought of the horror movie type angle.
Well, it's been Halloween time.
being Halloween. I was like horror. What do I do? And they really, even though I love watching the Friday the 13th movies, I don't go to them every year. Nightmare on Elm Street, some of them, But there's not one that I have to go back to over and over and over. And I thought, well, it could go a monster movie like Tremors or something, but that didn't really. And then it struck me, Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is my favorite of them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be my answer. I really thought that was going to be it. But then it hit me as I was thinking of that, going, yeah, it's okay for it to have humor and everything else. It hit me, the one movie that without fail I watch every single year. In fact, sometimes when it's not Halloween, I watch it because I love it so much. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
That is a good one.
I mean, you've got Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the Wolfman, even an appearance by the Invisible Man at the end. You don't get any better than the classic Universal.
Was that Bella?
Bela Lugosi.
He was in that. That was him.
Yeah, he reprises Dracula in that. Lon Chaney Jr. is the Wolfman.
I remember I watched it a few times. I used to watch it when I was younger. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. That's hysterical. Because I used to be scared of him when I was a kid, and this is a way to kind of take him as a humorous way.
Yeah, oh yeah. And the only thing you don't get is you don't have Boris Karloff as the monster. You get Glenn Strange as Frankenstein's monster. But he'd been doing it in the other Universal movies at that point. Boris Karloff was already
Did not know that.
out of it. Yeah, so that's the only person who's not the iconic person in the group. But it was great. And it was done by Universal. So it was really, I mean, it honestly fits into the whole Universal monster movie better than what they're doing now based on the Tom Cruise Mummy.
They should actually do after all these movies. Tom Cruise's Mummy was terrible from what I heard. I didn't even see it yet.
Right.
But after these movies are over, the Mummy, Dracula, that kind of stuff again. What if they do like one of those other Abbott and Costello movies? Like who would it be?
Yeah, I've had this conversation with somebody. I think it was
Me,
Sharky.
actually.
Was it you?
It was
Oh,
me.
okay. I think Sharky might have been there too. But
Probably.
who's the go-to pair? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you go with like
Like a Ben Still, Owen Wilson, not your thing.
do that. Owen Wilson and tall guy swingers.
Vince Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn. The two of them are really good together. Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson. There's a common theme here among all these.
So you want Owen Wilson to be in this movie?
It's not so much want, it's just he seems to be good in these pairings.
Not Steve Carell and Paul Rudd or something like that, or
That would be, Paul Rudd, not anywhere near
Steve
my first.
Carell. Steve Carell's great.
He can be good. He can also be terrible. It depends on the role.
Yeah, it's the same Ben Affleck.
Yeah, but I think he's a better actor than Steve Carell.
Okay.
I don't know. My opinion. It's somebody who's better than both of them. Can we agree Sean Connery would be better than both of them?
Right.
I want somebody who, no matter whether the role is good or bad or anything else, you're going to enjoy them. And Steve Carell is one that I don't know I'm always going to enjoy.
I'm not gonna lie, John Paul. That's actually a good suggestion you just made.
All right, well, cool.
It happens like that's the first time in like 40 episodes we're on.
We were around 40, 41. I
There
don't
we
know,
go.
something like that.
Well, you had a good one. I'm proud of you.
Ah, thank you, thank you.
Now,
What
for
about
me-
you?
For me, it was always, at least to my wife, it was always Halloween, the original.
Okay.
Michael Myers, the first one.
Yeah.
It's Halloween time.
William
See what
Shatner
Halloween-
bleached out. Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my wife hates Halloween movies.
Hmm.
It's really weird. We love horror movies. Both of us love horror movies.
Right.
I'm definitely more of the slasher type guy. She's more of the psychological horror movies.
Okay.
Um,
Crimson Tide, or not Crimson Tide, Crimson, whatever it was, with Tom Hiddleston, that type of
yeah,
psychological
that
thing.
one actually was a bad movie.
I've heard people say it was wonderful.
We both hated it, and she
Huh.
loves Tom Hiddleston. She loves
Wow.
Tom Hiddleston, and we both thought it was boring.
I've heard people say it was great.
Visually, it
I
was
don't know.
amazing. Del Toro work is amazing, but the movie itself, I thought it was boring.
Okay.
Recently, it has been Trick or Treat. This little.
Trick or treat? I don't know. I don't
think
know
his
Trick
name
or
is
Treat.
Jad. I don't know what his name is. He walks around wearing this full monster costume, little kid with his
Okay.
bag, and go to people's houses. And it's one of those stories where everybody has each house has their own story that's going on.
Okay.
You know, there's one house the bus driver drives a bunch of kids into the water. Another house where this guy actually kills kids, and all these different stories go on.
This doesn't sound like a town I want to live in.
It's actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
I really can't explain it that much, but it's like one of those.
I mean, do you see these full stories?
Yeah,
Okay.
but each story is like 20 minutes long, whatever it is.
It's almost like Twilight Zone, the movie.
kind
That
yeah, very
kind of style.
similar type. It's very similar type style to that, and all these stories eventually wrap up together. And this
Okay.
one kid is usually the one that kind of mixes them all together.
And as a kid.
We think, well, he's the size of a
As
kid.
far as you know. Okay.
Is he a creature, whatever it is, you never really find out. But it's this year. I'm gonna show it to you.
Okay.
I think because there's a lot of comedy in it. A lot of comedy in it. A couple of actors. I'm blanking all the names right now, and one of the guys from Battlestar Galactica. Stuck in the
Original or new?
The new one.
New one, okay.
He was in Dollhouse. What's that guy's name? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Tall,
Yeah.
very tall guy. Yeah, no, he was Anders on Battlestar Galactica.
No, he wasn't Anders.
Was it not Anders?
It wasn't Anders.
Was it Anders?
Anders was the football player, whatever it was. This guy's, he was Boomer's first, whatever. Anyways,
Okay.
He's in the movie. So,
Okay.
good movie. We both enjoy it. Watch it every single year. And Nightmare Before Christmas is up there as well. But
I knew you enjoyed that one. I didn't know if you'd mention that one, but
oh,
I
I
knew
love
you enjoyed
Nightmare.
that
I love
one.
Nightmare.
That's one I've never enjoyed. I don't know why.
Really?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It looks great. I just never have enjoyed it. I don't know why.
To each their own.
But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Again, it's well made. I don't have a problem with it. It's just not my cup of Disney tea.
All right. Well,
You know.
to each their own, John Paul.
Question for you: After
Yes.
this year, once it comes out on video and at home and all that kind of stuff, do you think it might take over from Trick or Treat? Since you raved about it so much.
It, I absolutely love. Will it take over? I don't know, because there are some movies that, like, I just can't watch all the time.
Yeah.
Trick or Treat, it's only like an hour and a half long, maybe give or take, and it's such a mixture of, yeah, it's horror, but comedy, and just a
Yeah.
fun movie. You know, it's straight out horror.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
again, I'm going to buy it as soon as it comes out on DVD, absolutely. I loved it. I'm going to watch it at least another couple of times.
Okay.
But will I watch it all the time? I don't know. I don't know if that's staying power.
Okay.
That's the problem with horror movies, actually. A lot of them don't have staying power on me.
Cabin in the Woods. That's one I've noticed you can watch over and over and over.
Cabin in
I
the
love
Woods is
watching
up there. I love Cabin in the Woods, but is that really horror? That's Evil Dead horror type, right?
Yeah, it's Evil Dead horror. But Evil Dead 2. Maybe not Evil Dead 1, but Evil Dead 2 I can watch over and over and never get
But
tired
again,
of it.
that's horror comedy. I'm talking about-
I will say Evil Dead 2 is closer to a straight horror movie than some things. I mean, it's a straight horror movie with a spoof laid over the top of it.
well, Evil Dead 1 was meant to be a horror movie,
Yeah.
and they realized that was
Yeah.
not the direction, so they made Evil Dead 2, essentially.
Yeah.
I would say when I was a kid, the original Chainsaw Massacre
Mhm.
scared the daylights out of me.
I can't stand that one.
I thought it was... I'm talking like when I was like 5 or 6
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
I was terrified, absolutely terrified when I saw it.
Hmm.
You know, I never actually remember when they kidnapped the girl, whatever it was, and they sat at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And I remember being just freaked out, just
Oh, yeah.
absolutely freaked out, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
was scared for the night. And I watched it again, like 6-7 years ago, and I was so bored. So, again, people,
That's the thing. I didn't watch it till about 10 years ago. And yes, I was very bored with it when I watched it.
and that's the problem. A lot of horror movies don't have this vibe. They just don't hold.
Yeah.
People are very Like Chainsaw Massacre has a
Yeah.
big cult following, especially the original.
Oh yeah.
You make fun of that movie, they'll execute you.
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of it. It was great for its time, but I personally don't think it lasts the test of time.
Yeah. Psycho does.
Psycho
Psycho's
does.
one that definitely holds up.
And Jaws does.
Yeah.
But Jaws is not really, is it drama, horror, whatever?
Jaws is. I throw Jaws into the monster movie category. I mean, yes, it's a real monster. It's not a make-up or
Right.
make-believe monster, but still, I throw it more into that monster category.
Now, I still enjoy the Jason movies, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
They're still fun, but I think somebody younger than me watching them right now would be bored. This is, like, especially the first one, where's the killer? You don't see the killer.
Yeah.
This old lady, really? But those are clearly man hands of the one-time movies.
Spoiler warning. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
For a 1980 movie, yeah.
so, again, will it hold the test of time? I don't know. I hope it does. You'll see it eventually, I know. I'm hoping you'll see it eventually.
It?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When it comes on TV, I'll definitely.
Yeah, I thought it was
See
great.
it.
I thought it was absolutely great. And I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
I will say in the trailers, I think you said you'd seen the trailer a long time ago, or maybe it's a remake or whatever. I don't know if you mentioned it. But the one that's coming up, that's the one where the girl gets killed over and over and over.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
Again.
Is that out in theaters yet? I
It
didn't know
was
it's
supposed to
called.
come out on the 13th,
Okay,
so I think it's the 13th. I think it's a Friday this year, but
it is.
right around there. That's when it's supposed to be coming out.
That looks cool.
It looks really good. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but it looks really good.
What's it called? Like Murder Day or something like that? Or Happy Death Day?
Yeah, I think Happy Death Day or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, yeah. The title doesn't. Just seeing the title doesn't make you say, "I want to see that."
That's the problem is, I think that title might have killed it for me.
Yeah, but watching the trailer, it looks really cool. I mean, it's Groundhog Day mixed with a slasher.
It is. What they should do is, actually saw a meme of this, mini, whatever it's called. They should make Groundhog Day and just make the same movie again.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
you
know.
go. There you go.
Anyways, on to the news.
On to the news. All right, so I got 2 or 3 news things. I'll save the horror-related one to last, so we can talk more horror here. All right, so the first one I want to mention, it's been just over a week that the powers that be, whoever it is that decides this is what we predict movies are going to make on their opening weekend. You know, they do all these kind of predictions, and people in Hollywood seem to live and die by these kind of things. And, you know, it's like, whatever, it's going to do what it's going to do. You know, make the movie you want to make and live with it. But they like to make these predictions, and companies, you know, make lots of money doing this. They came out with their predictions for both Thor and Justice League, and I definitely don't agree with one. One might be closer, and the one I definitely don't agree with is Thor. So they give you background. The original Thor made $65 million in its opening weekend.
Okay.
I don't know what its prediction was, but it made $65 million. The second Thor made $85 million opening weekend. Again, I don't know the prediction. This one is being projected to be $100 million opening weekend. So when you hear those numbers back to back, you're like, okay, that probably makes sense based on the fact that the Marvel Universe is getting bigger and you know, they're tying in together and all that. 65, 85, now 100. I just have a feeling that that's way undershooting it. I think
Undershooting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like closer to 120.
And that's what I said originally, too, was 120, was my guess.
And could be wrong because Thor has not had the popularity of Robert Downey Jr. or Spider-Man or anything else. It's not had that popularity, and the first 2 movies were being kind of but they're featuring the Hulk so much in this, and the Thor Hulk stuff together was so popular from the Avengers movies.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be huge.
The general consensus I got people I talked to about Thor movies in general was most people were seeing Loki over Thor.
Yeah.
That's what I thought most people wanted to see. I enjoy both characters. But being Hulk, I'm all in. Once I saw the Hulk in this, like, okay, I'm going to see this opening weekend. Probably won't on me, but
I think the last trailer I saw, they've got long trailers, short trailers, all that
Right.
kind of stuff. The last one I saw on television last night. It was one of those kind of 15 to 20 second cuts that's just really short, gives you the highlights real fast.
yeah,
It showed a picture of Thor, then it showed a picture of Hulk in his big armor, then it showed a picture, I guess it's Sartor and Hulk jumping and getting ready to
yeah,
Hulk smash Sartor, whatever. And then it showed a picture of Loki, then it showed another picture of Hulk, then it showed another picture of Loki, and then the final scene had Thor stand there and set a line. I would say of that 20 seconds, 18 of it had nothing to do with Thor.
yeah. I think I saw one part. I actually totally agree with you. It was always
Yeah.
Hellier or Loki or Hulk,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So yeah, they know their market, what they want people want to see.
If they do a good job, I think it'll do much bigger.
I think Loki's the one bad guy in any of these movies so far that can probably carry his own movie.
Yeah.
At this point, I think people want to see that.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see if we're right or if these experts are right. The experts can be wrong. Wonder Woman is one they were very wrong on. They predicted 83 million, ended up doing 103 million.
Right.
And I think that's the kind of percentage difference we're going to see with Thor. I think it's going to be more like the Wonder Woman style. Batman versus Superman, however, they predicted 154 and it made 166. Yeah, that's pretty close. I mean, percentage-wise, that's...
Yeah.
They're always going to try to shoot for accurate and a little under, because everybody's happy when it beats estimates, and they look better if it's close, but just slightly under.
Right.
That's close enough. They got that one pretty accurate. But you also wonder sometimes with some of these how much of their predictions become self-fulfilling prophecies. Because if somebody predicts this is going to make really low, now all the media starts talking about how low it's going to be and how bad it's going to be, and now people don't go because they're seeing the media say it's going to be low.
I agree.
I don't know. Anyway, the other one, Justice League. Justice League, they're predicting 150 million. So they're actually predicting 4 million less than Batman versus Superman for Justice League, which, if we had not had Wonder Woman this past summer, might be right. Whether it should be right or not, I think we both agree.
Right.
In a world where there's no superhero movies ever existed, comics have existed, and people have been dying to see live-action superheroes, and suddenly there's a Justice League movie coming, that thing's off the charts. Huge. No matter how good or bad,
Right.
it's off the charts. But in the world that exists right now, without Wonder Woman this summer, 150 to 160 would probably be a right prediction. But we had Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman's being featured very heavily in a lot of the trailers. And the trailers look pretty good.
To you, they look pretty good.
Most people are even saying that they're happy with it.
Okay.
Just going by what I read online.
And that's fine.
You know, San Diego Comic-Con general
Oh, when you
reports.
go to DC fans and that's what they think, they're going to think it looks good. I think it looks terrible. I think the Flash's outfit looks absolutely horrendous. I think Cyborg looks like a CGI fool. Batman looks cool. I think Aquaman, he visually looks cool, but the lines I've seen him do is not Aquaman. I don't know.
Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman's cool.
Okay.
Wonder Woman's been the best part of DC Universe so far.
Well, and because of that, I think they're going low. I think it'll make 200 million like Avengers for opening weekend? No. Should it? It should do that and more. Honestly, again, if you go back to that world where nothing's ever existed, Marvel or DC movies,
No, it shouldn't. Because Avengers, up to Avengers, Iron Man was a huge hit. People loved it.
no. I
Thor was a huge hit.
I'm saying if none of that existed,
Oh, right.
and all people knew were, we have a live-action superhero movie coming, and the general public, take the general public, without all those other movies, do they have any idea who Iron Man is? Do they have any idea
Right.
who Hawkeye is and all that kind of stuff? No, Hawkeye, isn't that the guy from MASH? You know, that kind of thing. Everybody knows Superman, everybody knows Batman, everybody knows Wonder Woman. Most everybody knows Flash and, you know, Aquaman. Even if they make fun of Aquaman, they know him. You have characters that the entire world knows, especially domestically here in the U.S. That'd be a 200 million plus movie.
I think what helped
Either way.
Marvel hurts DC. Put it that way. I think helped Marvel was the solo movies were all huge successes. By the time Avengers came around, Avengers was such a huge hit because they loved those movies. And the opposite side, when DC, Green Lantern doesn't even exist anymore. And
Right.
They erased that. Man of Steel, I enjoy Man of Steel, but mixed reviews. Batman v Superman, mixed reviews. Suicide Squad, mixed reviews.
And then Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman was a great.
Right.
Was
So 3 mixed, followed by 1 good.
Right.
Marvel had less Iron Man, good
Right.
reviews.
Mhm.
Hulk, nobody cared. Thor, nobody cared. It was mixed reviews. We'll go
Okay.
mixed reviews. Hulk and Thor are mixed reviews. Generally, people who like Hulk like the movie, but the reason I said nobody cares is it just nobody cared about the Hulk because of the previous one, probably because of the Ang Lee Hulk.
Right, Ang Lee was terrible.
Captain America, good reviews. Thor 2, mixed or bad. So really, out of the
Thor
5
2 was
movies,
after Avengers, wasn't it?
yeah, Thor 2 was after.
Okay.
But Iron Man 2. If I
Okay.
said Thor 2, I meant Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 got bad reviews, mixed reviews, whatever. So really you had 2 good, 2 mixed, and 1 bad.
But those mixed reviews were still much better reviews than Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad were. Much better. I'm sorry. There's no way around it.
They weren't as controversial. You're right. They weren't as controversial.
Okay.
A lot of people didn't have any preconceived notion when they go in to see Thor. You have an idea of what you expect in Superman. Nobody had any idea what to expect with Thor. So when it was mixed, you're right. Okay, it must just not be one I care for. Versus, that's not Superman. So you're right. The mixed reviews are a different type of mixed reviews. But I think it's going to make more like 175.
I don't know.
And it's only 11 million more than Batman vs Superman.
There's a lot of people like me that are sitting there going, I've been disappointed in DC movies so much up to now that I'm holding back until I get good reviews.
Yeah. And of course, we got 6 weeks right now.
We do.
In those 6 weeks, we're going to start hearing more screenings and other kind of reviews, word of mouth is going to start leaking out. Part of it will come down to that. If word of mouth starts leaking out and it's all good, let's just assume for a minute, if it's all good from people who went in doubting and people went in, like myself, positive. If across the board it's all positive word of mouth.
Then I might even see it opening weekend.
Yeah.
Again, it depends.
And it's more likely to do the 175 plus.
All right.
If every bit of the word of mouth is negative, then that hurts it. Or if the word of mouth is very split, again, like Batman vs Superman.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to skip on down to the AMC decision. All right,
Yes.
so
That's your big news right there?
that's the big news. It was
that's
the
the
big news.
headliner?
It was one of the headliners when I was writing my news a week ago for our podcast then, which we didn't do because somebody was sick. Yeah.
One day of work I missed in like a year and a half, and that's not bad.
All right, so around The Walking Dead, I guess this would apply to any shows, any original content on AMC. They are allowed to use the F word up to, and that's the way the headlines say it. They're allowed to use the F word up to 2 times per season.
Yes.
Previously, they could only use it once. Or
Did they ever say it before?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they did
I didn't
before
recall
or not.
hearing it before.
Maybe not before at all. I don't know. Or maybe they were allowed to use it once in context or something that was so extreme nobody ever got to that point. But now, twice per season. And The Walking Dead jumped on this immediately saying, oh, we're going to use our quota.
So do
This
you get
is
this,
horror
John Paul?
related.
The Walking Dead now uses the F word more than you use it.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Yes, it does.
That is crazy.
The Walking Dead, should they be free to use whatever language is suitable for the show? Yes. That show's never been aimed at all audiences. They started out with for mature audiences. You know what you're
Right.
getting into watching the show. Kids should not be watching the show, so on. That being said, it's almost like when something goes on HBO, and I've said it seems like there's some executive who counts the number of nudity scenes and bad language and violent deaths in every show, and there has not that they're allowed, but there has to be a certain quantity in every episode
Right.
on HBO shows. Just because you can do something, do you automatically say, "Oh, I have to put this in now"?
Some do.
Well,
I mean,
why?
think of HBO and Cinemax and that kind of stuff. Those shows, they were especially with the adult shows.
Yeah,
They always need to be more okay. Well, this show showed this much nudity and this much
right.
adult encounters. We need to go more extreme now, and it's getting that way. Where I think 5-10 years from now, you're going to see a lot more of that.
Yeah. Let me ask you: has it hurt your enjoyment of the show? And we've had other reasons to not enjoy Walking Dead for that we talked about. But
Right.
taking those aside, has the lack of swearing hurt your enjoyment of the show?
I could care less.
Right.
I think in a more realistic environment, putting Walking Dead in a realistic environment, it's kind of a stretch.
Certain
anyways.
characters are gonna.
Yeah, especially guys like Darrow and that kind of stuff. There's going to be a lot of F-bombs and cursing left and right. No doubt about it.
Negan is probably going to do
Yeah.
that.
But at this point, I mean, at the same point, when you're willing to believe a show of walking zombies and, you know, people, this dumpster divers losing their heads already and talking like
Yeah.
robots
Right.
after only a couple of years and that kind of other stuff happens. If you're willing to believe all this can happen, but the lack of F-bombs or swears and whatever in general is a problem, then, you're already going to suspend your belief as it is.
I know, and that's why I just thought it was kind of. Is it right for AMC to have certain rules and regulations, all that kind of stuff? Sure. My problem is not with AMC having that, although I think they should make it much broader,
Yeah,
less restrictive.
I agree.
But at the same time, for the directors and producers to say, "Oh, we're going to push the limits all the time," Why? Just tell the same story you were telling before. If it was working, why do you need to change?
It's not really working anymore for me.
Well, that's
Walking Dead has been kind of sliding down my trout recently, last couple of years. It's just, I'm hoping that I will watch it this year all the way through, of course, but I'm hoping this year they get off the formula of no more amazing first episode, semi-good second episode, and a lot of backstory.
and then end with
And with another
a great teaser going into the final one, and then a great final one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't want that again.
yeah, I understand. I get it. How about all Negan series or all Negan season?
I would like it.
Have Negan featured heavily in every episode?
Negan was the best part of last season,
Yeah.
but he was only in like 5 episodes, wasn't he? Wasn't a lot of it.
He obviously was in the first one in a big way.
Yeah, and he ended well, but
In the end, he was in the one where Carl got captured.
yeah,
And then he was in there in small ways in other episodes.
yeah. Like one of the Eugene episodes, just I walked
Yeah.
by, something like that.
Well, yeah, the one where Eugene's being introduced to the whole place. Negan's in it a bunch, but it's not Negan's episode.
Right.
It's Eugene's episode, and Negan comes and goes from the story appropriately.
But when they go into what's the Haven, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
or it's always different guys. When they went to the other area, it was different guys. Never really Negan himself.
Yeah.
Negan only left the compound a couple times once went to Alexandria. That was pretty much it for him.
And I do find it odd, I haven't mentioned this, but I find it odd that when you look at, and it makes sense that Negan's not there all the time. He would have deputies to do stuff. I got it. All these little compounds and little groups are all fairly close to each other because not everybody's driving from one to another. They drive sometimes, but a lot of times you see them on foot walking between. They're not that far from each other.
Right.
But when they show a group show up to get the tribute or whatever, it's a completely different group that shows up at each of the 3 different areas. Why would you have your area split up that? Why wouldn't you have the same group going out to all 3 of these really close
Right.
groups?
You spread yourself thin.
Yeah, it seems odd.
Yeah, a lot of choices seem odd in that show. I'm hopeful the season it starts in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the same weekend that the Happy Death Day
Yeah.
comes out.
So, yay! Heck, good weekend.
Yeah. All right. So
That was your news?
That was the news. Do you have something news related?
Yeah, a couple of big. Well, first of all, we just lost legendary rock star Tom Petty. Just died. Nothing to really do with our show, but
For the record, when I first heard that, I know you're going to make fun of me, and I don't mean any disrespect or anything else. I'm showing my ignorance or anything else. When I first saw a headline briefly, like out of the corner of my eye type, see it, I thought it was a race car driver that had died.
that's Richard Petty.
I get that, but I have no idea who Tom Petty is.
Really?
No idea.
I'm sure if you heard some of the songs, like
I-
Last Dance
probably-
of Mary Jane, that kind of stuff, you've...
By title, no. But I'm sure if I heard them play, I'd go, oh, I didn't know who did that.
Running down the street.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
never
don't
mind.
know. Yeah.
He's one of those.
Yeah.
He has songs,
Yeah.
and I think this is controversial. Jamie Lee Curtis has come back for Halloween. However,
Yep.
for Halloween movie, I think next year. Is that what it is? Next year.
Whenever it comes out, yeah.
But this takes place after Halloween 2, the originals.
Okay.
Right, all the Rob Zombie junk he made.
Yeah, just
It's
pretend
Halloween
nothing
1, 2,
exists,
and anything past 2 doesn't exist,
including H2O.
including H2O. And this would kind of Halloween 3 nothing to do with Michael Myers at all. So
Yeah.
whether it's the same universe, I don't care less.
Doesn't matter.
That was just a different. That was a bad mistake. Are you okay with this? With this decision?
If they included H2O
Right.
and made this H21 or whatever, I know it doesn't sound as cool,
Yeah.
but I'd be okay with it. I'd be okay with pretending the others don't exist. But the whole point of H2O was to bring Jamie Lee Curtis back and to do a sequel to 1 and 2, pretending the others didn't exist.
Right.
That was its entire reason. So they're basically saying, whoops, we didn't do it well, we're going to do it again? Is that kind of what they're saying?
I have no idea. So I'm confused right now because, all right, Halloween 1 was a classic. Everybody loves it. Whether it's not my favorite guy at all, but
Yeah.
even Halloween the original one was a classic. 2 was good.
Mhm.
2 was a solid follow up. I watched 3 once when I was a kid. I haven't watched it since. And 4 and 5, honestly, I think I watched once myself, and they were decent. But
Who cares?
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Now H2O came out. H2O was the first. I own the first one, and I think I own H2O. That's all. And that's one was I own that series.
Okay.
H2O I loved.
So they're going to wipe out 50% of your collection
Pretty
from
much.
existence.
And that kind of H2O was fun.
Yeah.
In today's age of slasher movies, it's so hard to do a slasher movie. Slashers don't scare you anymore. They're not scary anymore.
Right.
Let's be real.
Right.
It's been done so much, it's not scary anymore. With H2O, they had the comedy from LL Cool J. They had the intense scenes with Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers. They had brought her son in and did that one amazing scene where Josh Hartnett and his girlfriend are sitting in trapping behind the gate and banging the door. Let us in. Michael Myers already didn't lock the door. That's locking the gate. Jamie Lee Curtis closed the door and they had a stare off.
Yeah.
Which is the best scene in any horror movie in my life. That was an awesome cut. All that goes away, and that kind of bothers me in a way.
Yeah. Of course, it's not out yet. They might still change.
I don't think they're going to.
Yeah. It's just weird.
It is to me. I'm glad she's back. She's, in my opinion, the greatest queen in history.
You think so?
Yeah, and which is funny because her mother's Janet Leigh from Psycho.
Yeah.
One of the greatest movies in history. But Jamie Lee Curtis, she's been Halloween, The Mist. I think she was in The Mist as well.
I don't
Oh,
remember.
The Mist of Fog, or one of them. She's been in some good stuff, and she's amazing. I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad she's back.
She's good.
I don't know if this is the right direction for that. And I'm glad they're getting rid of the Rob Zombie junk.
Yeah. Except for H2O, I'm okay with everything.
Right. And
plan.
that's exactly where I'm at. I loved H2O as the problem.
Well, there's one other death you forgot to mention that I didn't mention in the news either.
What's that?
Hugh Hefner died as well this past week.
Died, yes.
I'm fully, and I'm tying this into the horror thing as you say that because I'm fully expecting every year at Dragon Con on the night before the whole thing starts on Thursday night. Every night they have parties, and on the first night they have what they call the Bunny Hutch party, where people come dressed either in a superhero costume, sexed up with bunny ears and tail, or with smoking jacket doing the hef look. It's one of the two. So you'll see a whole lot of Robert Downey Jr. looking Tony Starks with a smoking jacket, with a bunny version of Mary Jane or Spider-Man or whatever.
I get you.
I'm fully expecting this next year to see a whole lot of zombie Hugh Hefners.
I was actually just thinking that too.
Yeah,
Zombie Hugh Hefner.
That's what I'm expecting to have happen.
And does he have zombie bunnies with him?
That would work.
A sexed up Playboy bunny is a bit of zombies.
Yeah, that would work.
And people might say it's too soon for that. No, it's really not.
It'll be a year at that point.
I mean, he's had a good life.
Yeah.
People are saying in a better place right now. He's not in a better place. I saw where he lived. I saw who he lived with. He's not in a better place. I'm sorry, man. But yeah.
So,
Hefner's gone.
all right. So, any other news from you?
I think that's it.
All right. So we were going into the more horror. We've been talking horror mostly. We're in October.
Right.
Are there any other horror movies coming this month that you're aware of that you're looking forward to?
I mean, it just came out, and it being such a huge success.
It came out early. Shouldn't it have come out in October?
But the thing is, it's still number one, I think, in theaters right now.
Maybe. I don't know.
I
I think it dropped out for 1
It
week,
dropped
but
to
maybe
two,
it
and
came
it came
back.
out to number one again.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's going to be out for Halloween still.
Well, yeah.
People are going to see it again. I'm telling you, man, I'm very happy with this movie.
Yeah.
I honestly think, in my opinion, it's going to go down the way of the greatest in history.
It's a big statement.
It is a big statement, but I mean, it was so much fun, and I like the original. I like the first half of the original. I mean, Tim Curry back in, what was it, 27 years ago?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's when it came out actually, and but it wasn't creepy. It was just a fun movie. And the second half of that was terrible. With the I felt like they threw it in.
Yeah.
This movie was just so much fun. Bill Skarsgård was amazing as Pennywise, just amazing as Pennywise.
Which I learned from you that he's yet another Skarsgård that's in the movies.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many they were.
Yeah.
The brother, I guess, was the one from Tarzan and True Blood. The dad was one from Thor.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. So Skarsgård's
And
left
Bill
and
was
right.
in Hemlock Grove from Netflix,
Okay.
the recent one. So, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you got to see that movie. It is just, it's worth it.
All right. So we got that.
It's worth the price.
We got Happy Death Day coming.
Yes.
The Exorcist Season 2 just came back on TV in the last couple of weeks. I was never a big Exorcist fan, so I don't know if you've been watching it or not.
Never saw it.
Okay, so there's that.
Was it good? The first season?
I didn't watch it. That's why I was asking. I didn't know if maybe you did or not. Obviously, it did well enough that it's coming back for Season 2. But it's on Fox, and you never know what Fox is going to do.
Oh, Slayton One News, too. Because we are a geek following. Star Trek
Yeah.
on CBS Online.
Yes.
Your opinion?
I loved it. Absolutely.
You've seen everything. You've seen all the episodes?
All 3 episodes that have come out so far. Absolutely loved it. I know everybody's trying to compare it to the Orville to give their opinion of it.
Right.
They're two different shows.
Right,
Yes, they
completely.
both happen to be space on a spaceship exploring or doing whatever.
Right.
And yes, The Orville was written to be kind of a throwback to classic Trek. So I get why people are comparing them.
Almost
but-
kind of like a Galaxy Quest, and as a
yeah.
yeah.
But it's almost like people feel like they have to say, well, which one is good and which one is bad. And more people seem to be enjoying the Seth MacFarlane humor on The Orville. And Star Trek Discovery is definitely not classic Trek.
It's a new direction.
It's a new direction. Well, not even necessarily a new direction. It's a period of time they never have discussed. I mean, or presented. They've discussed it. This is the Klingon War. This is before Kirk's time.
Or is it really?
Yeah, this is a prequel to the original series. This is you have was it Star Trek 6? No, 7, 8? I don't know. The one where they went back in time and the next gen crew helped Earth get out to space and get noticed. Yeah, that's really where Star Trek would begin, was with that moment in time. Then you got Enterprise, where we first are going into space. Then you got Discovery. Then you get Classic Trek with Kirk and Spock and everybody, and then Next Gen and so on. So that's where it fits in the timeline. So it's
Didn't know that. Okay.
it's before really the Prime Directive is really ingrained in everything. I mean, you've got them at war. You've seen the first
Yeah.
3. You've got them at war. It's a very different time than what we're used to for Trek. In fact, if you look at the original series and Next Gen, the original series was a little bit more violent than Next Gen. Next Gen
Absolutely.
had gotten to a point where we had peace treaties with everybody. Everything was more calm. Everything was, about diplomatic relations. Original series, even though we had treaties in place, we still fired on, Klingons and fired on Romulans, and
Oh, absolutely.
they fired on us, and so on, left and right. It happened all the time. It was strained relations. This is what leads into that. So the fact that it's a little more violent, a little more dark, makes sense. Although I did run a review that pointed out one thing. We're used to seeing Star Trek where we're seeing the absolute best example of humanity. Sort of like the Superman. If you compare Superman and Batman, Superman always does the right thing, upholds, whereas Batman is the one who will do what needs to be done within
Yeah.
certain guidelines. But Superman is the one who's always going to trust and have the hope and all the rest.
Absolutely.
We're used to seeing that across the board in our leaders on Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Lorca on this,
So far, it seems more like the Batman.
he's more Batman.
And woke up played by Jason Isaacs. I love Jason Isaacs. Big fan of him.
So that just fits. And we've always, when we've seen those characters in Star Trek, we've had Picard or Kirk fighting against them, showing them in how they're doing things wrong, and either convincing them they've been doing it wrong, or stopping them from doing something wrong,
Right.
or arresting them,
Absolutely.
or whatever. This is the first time that our heroes, the ones we're watching, are not like that. And so and I think that's why people are, the people who are actively talking against it, because there's plenty of people who love it, but the ones who are actively anti-Discovery, I think that's why. It doesn't fit what they've always thought it was
I
Trek.
think one of the problems is people want this to fail because it's not on TV.
And
They don't want CBS Online to take off.
Right.
I don't want it to take off either. I think that's a terrible idea. I like the idea of having free TV,
I understand.
and I think that's going away. I think this takes off, and then you see more networks doing it, and then free TV is just gone.
But I think it's just the evolution. We had free TV with very few choices,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got cable. And everybody was like, cable? Why am I going to pay for that? I got an antenna. But cable kept growing and more stations, and suddenly
Right.
everybody got drugged and had to pay for cable.
Right.
Then there were all the pay stations, HBO and all that. Why should I have to pay for that? I'm getting this stuff in my basic. Why do I have to pay more for that? But eventually, they started paying for HBO and all the rest. There was enough original content. And then you started having the streaming services, Netflix and such, that come along. This is just the next iteration.
But there's advertisements during CBS Online, isn't there?
They've got 2 different packages you can buy.
Right, but
One with advertisements and one without.
And that's what they
Yeah.
should be advertisements. There's no advertisements on Netflix. There's no advertisements on HBO, unless they advertise HBO stuff. That should
Yeah.
be it. If you're paying for the service, you should get just the show.
Of course, they could have done that. They could have just said everybody's paying $10 and no commercials. But they gave people the $6 option for those who don't mind commercials. And I still got the free option right now. which, for all of our listeners and for you, if you sign up for their free 7-day trial, at the end of the 7 days, go to cancel it, they will give you the option. Now, I can't guarantee this, but they did for me. They gave me the option to get 30 more days free. So, yay, I've got another 30 days free. So I get to watch another 4 episodes. So I'll have seen 7 of the 14.
So you need to subscribe and watch the next.
And that's what we got to decide is am I going to subscribe or am I going to wait 2 or 3 weeks and then subscribe for the last month?
Yeah, might as well just finish it off.
Yeah, it's do I want to spend $6 or $12? That's what it comes down
Yeah.
to. I didn't want to spend 18, but I am going to spend 6. I've like it enough. I'm going to spend 6, unless the next 4 go downhill. But so far, the 3 have been going uphill.
The 3 have been great, and the effects are unbelievable. The show so far.
Yeah,
Like these are top, and I see why it's more expensive because these are top-notch effects.
and I do think to answer those complaints of the people who don't like the darker, the Captain Lorca style character, if you look at it, Michael Burnham, she has that wish for things to be the right way.
Right.
One of the first officer on there even said, "You were a great officer, a perfect officer, until you weren't." Yeah, she still upholds those ideals of the Federation, the things we know and love. She's just willing to do stuff every so often, at least once so far, and that's what Lorca's hoping for. But I have a feeling what we're going to see is these characters move towards those ideals. I don't think we'll see them completely Batman rogue style for the entire series. We'll have episodes like that, but I think we will see them slowly moving towards the more ideal state.
I heard a complete fun little fact for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Game of Thrones, the budget for Game of Thrones, has the same budget as Friends?
As friends.
Yes, the same budget. It's like 200 million, something like that, or what it was.
You
per
mean like for the
episode.
entire season or per episode?
Per episode. It was the same budget.
Well, I know that Friends, at one point, where they were making $1 million each. There were 6 of them. So
Right.
$6 million plus whatever's had to pay everybody else. So it was between $6 and $10 million, 6, 7, 8 probably per episode.
And then they paid more than that after a while, too. But, I mean, that seems, I don't know, a comedy that's, 10 years from now, most people forget about. I think Game of Thrones is going to be out there with one of the greatest shows of all time.
The difference was those commercials. At the time, people were not, when Friends was out, people were not skipping commercials yet, at least in the beginning, through the
Right, no
middle.
DVRs.
There's no DVR or very limited.
Right.
Commercials, it's what paid for everything. And if you were the number one show on TV, which Friends was for quite a long period of time,
Mm-hmm.
there was enough eyeballs watching it that they could charge enough for those commercials to where they were making more than that on every episode.
It's true.
And then they had the syndication and.
But
all the
again, I
rest.
mean, Game of Thrones, all the effects, got to be tons of. They got to build everything with Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and then to all these different actors. There's a ridiculous amount in that
Yeah.
show.
Well, I know that the original Flash.
Plus, Game of Thrones is now,
Oh yeah.
where the budgets are much higher.
Well, I mean, the original Flash, the John Wesley Shipp one.
Mhm.
I remember at the time it was one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive show being filmed, and it cost them like $1.5 million per episode.
Okay.
This is early '90s, like
Yeah, I
'91.
remember this. Yeah.
$1.5 million per episode, and they couldn't afford to do it because they didn't have enough people watching it. And now you're talking about so much more. It's
I know.
it's staggering.
To me, this surprised me that a show that ended. When did Friends end? 10 years ago, maybe more.
Probably let's go with 10. That's close enough.
I think it's actually more than that, but yeah, say 10 years ago, whatever it is. Game of Thrones is still present day. The economy, I mean, pay scale is so much higher now.
Yeah.
And then knowing how much goes into Game of Thrones as opposed to Friends, where they use like maybe 2 or 3 different settings per episode, and it's people sitting on the couch most of those episodes, making jokes.
Yeah.
The
It's
same budget blows my mind.
It's probably the way I feel when I hear sports, athletes' salaries. I mean, when you see a football player, who's your favorite? I know it is.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, there you go. How much does he make per season?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm sure it's a lot.
Let's go with $20 million. It's probably more than that.
Yeah.
But let's go with $20 million a year.
Okay.
How many games does he play?
Well, I see your point
No,
here.
I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm just saying that's when you hear that
Oh,
to play a game.
He's not worth it. No NFL player is worth with the money they get paid.
Except if the owner is making more money from their team because if Tom Brady really is that good, let's say Tom Brady's the best in the league, best in the
He is,
NFL.
yeah.
Okay. If the Patriots win more games because of him, and people show up in the stands and watch the game because of him, and tune in on TV and watch because of him, and so the owner makes more money because of him, He's worth it. If the owner's making, $1 billion a year, why isn't he worth $20 million?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, John Paul, because honestly, you have a job because of me. You look successful because of me. I go further, so we're out of time almost. So I'm just going to say, maybe I should.
Yeah, we got about right there.
I should get paid more money than I get paid.
Okay.
Throwing out there. Just throwing out there, John Paul.
I'll look at the percentage between what the owner of the Patriots makes and what Tom Brady makes, and we'll see if we fall into the same kind of percentage bracket. That actually would be very, all joking aside, that'd actually be kind of interesting
Yeah,
to see.
you look into that one, John Paul.
I'll look into that.
You be the owner here, and I'll be the Tom Brady, and we'll see how
Let's see
how
what
that
it
falls
does.
into
Let's see what it
place.
does. All right. So, do we have a question for
We
next
do.
time?
I'm thinking Star Wars right now. We've talked
Okay.
Star Wars a little bit, and it's kind of a basic question. It's October. The new movies come out in December, 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Does it bother you that we haven't seen anything
It
at
really,
all?
It really does.
Well, this is the question next week.
Okay.
Think it over.
Okay, I'll think it over. I'll more than it really does. Yes, I'll be thinking about it. Yes, but I see
explain
what
why.
you mean.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
why.
this more than is a yes or no question.
Yes.
Yes, but I know what you mean. It's surprising. It's very surprising.
So go from
and next
there.
time we'll talk about it and talk about some of the rumors of where we might be seeing more. And
Absolutely.
there's been a lot come out about that thing. So, for John Paul
B-Man.
and the Old Titans, we are out of here. While the B-Man finishes lunch.
I got just a minute. Come on.